Hold on.
I think we're recording. Are we?
I think that sound a toast to life,
Toast.
baby.
Toast.
Today's a good one. It's a good day.
It's always a great day when we get a podcast.
It always is. Every
It's
Friday.
always a good Friday.
Gracias a Dios.
Fridays are the best day of the week.
Man, we're sitting back with an amazing friend. But for everybody that has not watched, I'm gonna hit you right away, dog.
Yeah, hit me.
No one. Let's for hypothetically, no one watches. No one has seen your content. No one has social media. Who are you?
Oh, that's a good question. My name is Francisco Carrillo. That's obviously my first name. Last name. I was born in Guanajuato, Mexico. So if you guys don't know, a lot of people don't know. I was born in Mexico, Guanajuato, Abasolo.
Sí, ¿de qué parte?
De Abasolo. Abasolo.
Okay.
So I was born in Mexico. I grew up my whole life in South Central LA. So that's my hometown. That's what I rep. And yeah, man, I mean, I'm a married man with 2 beautiful children. And we basically started creating content during COVID. I think that's the peak of everyone creating content. And, we're part of that cream of the crop of people.
Yeah.
And that's kind of in a nutshell, who I am.
Oh, man.
The man, the myth, the legend.
100%. I think you don't do a lot of podcasts.
I don't.
You don't do a lot of interviews unless you're on the red carpet getting interviewed for the big things you've been doing. So, brother, update us. What's up? Oh, I thought you said something. I was like, whoa.
The buff guy started walking
Yeah,
through.
I know.
Like, don't power lift me, fool.
Man, everybody has seen you everywhere. Millions of followers, millions of views. They see your family, your kids. You kind of invited everybody into your home with the content.
Yeah.
So talk to us. What is new? What is Francisco and his family doing right now?
Well, yeah, like you said it, right? Like, we brought everybody into our life. That's really our content in a nutshell, right? Like, creating this, like, cultural differences content between me and my wife, arguing over cultural differences or whatnot. And then we just a little bit evolved into, incorporating our kids in our content, incorporating sports into our content, a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And throughout, from the last time, what you just said it, 3 years ago.
About 3 years ago.
And 3 years ago that, I did the last podcast with you guys. It was a different cast at that point. So I feel like an OG. I feel like an OG.
Right here.
I feel like I'm part of the group that was here before, you guys blew up, 100%. Because you guys are giving me my flowers, but I'm going to give you guys your flowers. You guys have been doing a lot. You guys are blowing up. You guys are a staple now in the podcast community. And it seems like even branching out to other things, right? I keep tabs on what you guys do. But yeah, I mean, on my part, I was just so lucky that, I was with the right people. I took advice from the right people, surrounded myself with, great people, great manager, Bill Shadar, my agency, Highlight Star. And, I tapped into the movie business a little bit. And I don't think the last time we spoke, I don't think the movie was happening.
No,
so a lot has happened, but yeah.
Yeah, you were top. I mean, you've been at the top of the influencer list for, let's say, already years, bro, since COVID, how you said. But at the same time, you've never stopped. You never let your foot off the gas pedal, always moving. How do you do this? You've been consistent.
Right. So really, I just always wanted more. Like, even when I came, like, before social media, before we started social media, right, from the last podcast, I always worked a 9 to 5. I was working everywhere: Sears, Bank of America, the Greek Theater, you name it. And then ultimately I ended up working with kids that were in the foster care system, after school programs, etc. So when we got into social media, obviously it was an accident, right? We just kind of did it out of fun during COVID time.
Yeah.
And we were just having fun at the time. But then obviously when we saw that, we were onto something and we had something in our hands that, we could probably do this. I don't know. At that point in time, I remember I didn't think we could do it as a living or we could make money off of it. But I did see, like, okay, well, maybe we are onto something. And my goal always was, like, as we started going through milestones and reaching like, okay, we got 1 million followers, and we got our first brand deal, great, and everything is amazing, and we're working with these big companies. It was like, well, how do I do this to make it last, right? Because it's always like, social media is so unpredictable. Like, you could be at the top, and next thing you know, you're at the bottom. There's so many creators now, which is amazing. Like, you're seeing creators that are cooking. You're seeing creators of the mom making lonche for the husband. Like, it's very oversaturated in a way, but it's good to see, because now you're seeing so many more avenues and so many more creators, and it is harder, right? So that right there, to some degree, when you are a full-time creator, you do wonder, like, okay, how can I get to the next level? What else can I do when you feel like you've done it all? And at that, there was points where we did feel like we did it all, right? So when I first met my manager, he said, like, I could see you in a movie. I could see you, in Hollywood, in a show or something, and at the time I really didn't believe it, right? Because I'm just, acting a fool in front of the camera with my family. Yeah, we're acting, but it's like, when you're a young kid and you see like actors or TV shows that you like, you never really think like that could be you. Yeah. At least not coming from where I come from, right? Like, I don't think I've ever met anyone from my childhood that I want to be an actor, right? Because we don't know about acting schools. We don't know about these programs. Yeah. How does that actor even get in that movie? Like, it's things that, we're just not knowledgeable of. So it was never really a dream of mine. And even when Bill told me, like, I could see you in a movie, and he was selling me on this, it was just like, yeah, all right. You hear it a lot, right?
It's like when you're a youngster and they tell you, te puedo llevar a las Chivas, a la América. ¿A poco? Sí, no. Jefe, su hijo juega rete bien, lo puedo llevar a Tijuana, lo voy a tratar con la América. Vámonos. Yeah. And you're kind of like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. You believe it, but you're like, after a while, you kind of don't believe it. You're like, I kind of heard it. Like, it's not that easy. You're older. I mean, I got in social media when I was in my 30s, right? So now I'm mature. Maduro, like, I kind of seen it all. I have a baby.
My knees hurt already.
Yeah, they call me Unc.
I can tell it's cold when I wake up.
They call me Unc on the comments.
Am I the only one still under 30 on this podcast today?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
You're under 30? Hey, I'm a boy. You look older than all of us.
It's funny because it's true, though.
Jose, cut the camera, bro. Cut the camera.
He said, cut the camera and turn off the lights.
But it's experiencia, güey.
It's experience. Fine wine.
Soy sabio.
Yeah, dude. So you hear it all, man. You kind of hear it, and you really don't believe it. But, when I got with this group of, individuals and creators and management team, it wasn't really about what he was selling me on that he could possibly do for me. It was really the connection I felt, right? Yeah. Like, we would get approached by managers at the time, because we're already in the millions of followers, right? So we would get approached by different managers. A lot of it comes through emails, and this is my agency, I want to manage you, and so on. But this group of people, they lived, in LA. I got a chance to put a face to them. I got a chance to meet them. It was a test trial before I even signed anything to be with them, So I got a chance to really know who they are as individuals. So that's why, really, in the beginning, why I even went, with that management team, Highlight Star and Bill and, the Mexican way, it was really because of the vibe that I felt, right?
That's important.
The support. And you know what? These are people that know my kids. I know them and their families. I've been to their houses. So it became almost like a friendship to a degree. And yes, we just started going. He really started, obviously feeding us, movies to promote and so on. So I was like, okay, well, it's there and so on. So when the first real actual opportunity, because I would get scripts and emails like, hey, I want you to audition for this role and so on. I was new to it. I didn't know about scripts. I didn't know about auditioning. I didn't know about recording in the white background, and I just didn't know any. I didn't go to school for any of this. I didn't research any of it. A lot of the times I would just be like, okay, I'll do it. And I'll just remember it right there that same day. And that's why they never called me back, because I didn't take it serious. Yeah. But, when he approached me with like the actual first opportunity, he was like, hey, there's a project that we're about to greenlight. I saw the script to it. George Lopez is tied to it. You know, we have, you know, Emily Tosta from the Mayans. We have, you know, I wish I could remember every other, you know, actor that was in this movie. It was like, dude, I want to be in this movie. Like, if it's really a possibility, my first movie being in a movie with like George Lopez, right? Or, you know,
that standard.
Big guys, huge, you know, big actors. It wasn't like a bunch of, not to like be disrespectful to any actor out there, but to me, it was like, if I'm going to be in a movie and it's going to be my first movie, this is a perfect movie. It was Latino representation about how a gringo stole Christmas, you know, about the Mexican Christmas. So I was sold on it. Yeah. So I really tried this time. Like, I read and I was reading. And, you know, really at that time, the producer, Angel, he was sold on the idea of having creators because this is kind of new, right? Like, you've seen creators in movies, but it's very new. Like, content creators, you know, we're seen as like, you know, like these guys that act silly, these guys that are invited to these red carpets, why, and so on, and they really don't understand it. Yeah. And in reality, Hollywood ultimately to this point doesn't understand it 100%. You know, 100%, right? 100%. So he was kind of iffy on having these creators because it wasn't just me, it was two other guys that were on there, and he wasn't really sold, right? He wanted some other actors. To be 100, this is like real, like true story. He wanted other actors in this movie that were actually actors, you know, Latino actors. And, you know, Bill just was like, dude, trust me, like, put these guys on, give them a shot. So we went through the process. It wasn't given to us to say, like, all right, let's put them in the movie. We had to go through auditions. Yeah. We had to go through the Zoom, because now everything is kind of like on Zoom, right? So we went through the Zoom auditions, you know. We had to, like, look and put on a wardrobe to see if we fit these characters and so on. So there was a lot of, like, back-end stuff that went into this. And, you know, ultimately, I think that, you know, by Bill just batting, like, put these guys on, like, they're not just your typical creators. They're acting in their content, right? Like, we are acting in a 2-minute long video. We are remembering our scripts because everything I do is scripted. So we are remembering these things. So he took a shot on us. Really, you know, he took a shot on us. Obviously, there was more to it because they figured, like, okay, if we could put these actors in this Hollywood movie, not only are you getting, you know, probably cheap labor, right? Because they probably would have paid a lot more for someone else.
They're like, pay 100 or pay 10.
Yes, exactly. You know? We'll just feed them a couple burritos out the week. They get to meet George Lopez, but they're gonna post. They're gonna create their own content on set. They're gonna promote this movie. And if you look at these content creators, they have millions of followers. Let us take a chance. So he really pitched this ball of, like, take a chance, trust me, they're gonna be good on set. I'll make sure they're on their A game. Yeah. So they're gonna hit their lines and all that. And at the same time, you're gonna get this marketing machine that in reality, movies are struggling, you know, studios are dying.
It's different, bro. Like, right now, I think we can honestly say, for the people that don't know, influencers that are the top of their game, consistent, dedicated, living by this, they bring more viewers, more listeners, more audience than someone that is on a high-end movie, but no one knows who you are.
But they're so relatable.
Yeah.
They're relatable. And I think that's something that you've really touched on with all your content. Yeah. Correct?
Yeah. It's just being relatable to who's your audience. Yeah. Right? Because as creators, you guys are creators. You guys have your own community, right? So when you guys are doing something big, a big show, a big event, your actual community shows up for you, 100%. Right? Because they want to see you succeed.
That's the point.
They do.
They see
they're
you.
rooting for you.
Yeah, they see you from the beginning, and they're like, "Man, I was following you when you had 1,000 followers."
Yeah.
And then now that you're at millions or even 100,000, whatever the case is, you're leveling up. There's the people that go to bat for you, and they're just like, whatever you do, I'm going to support you because I've been following your journey. You're a genuine person.
Yeah.
And you've never even met in person. Yeah. That's the crazy part.
And that's the crazy part.
I think that's something we always say. It's some of your biggest supporters are people you've never met in your life.
100%, bro.
Never met in your life. We never shook hands. We never hugged. We never even exchanged words. And you're my biggest supporter.
Look, and you will notice it, right? When you post a post on social media of, like, sharing big news, if you go through your comments, you're gonna see like your regulars. Like let's say you, right?
Yeah.
I posted, my latest
Today,
project, and you comment, right? But to some degree, we know each other, but we don't know each other, right? Like we met in this space, in the podcast, space. And if you go through the comments, I could guarantee you, without looking at my phone, there's probably 2 friends of mine that says something. And every other comment, it's like people I've probably never met.
Right.
Yeah.
Really.
Isn't that crazy?
And it's crazy. It doesn't hurt me. It doesn't bother me. Like, not no more. At one point, it was like, damn, bro.
But we see you see everything.
Yeah,
when
of
it comes
course.
To,
and it's like, and it's not that you want the handshake or the congratulations, and they probably are happy, right? Like, whether it's my boys or whoever it may be, they probably are happy.
Yeah.
But, it is nice to see sometimes, like, your true, like, good friends say something nice or congratulate you on a milestone, and you really don't. I posted something these last 2 days, and I could tell you not many of, like, who I consider close people, and I get it. We are older. We probably went a little bit our separate ways, but they ain't congratulate me. They ain't send, like, a nice message or nothing.
It's because sometimes they know me more. Sometimes I just want to hear it. I just want to see it. Like, you go day to day. You work hard week by week, month by month. And sometimes all you need is bro, I'm proud of you.
The words of affirmation, I think, go a long way.
Yeah.
Right? I think it feels good. I think everybody likes to be congratulated for every little achievement.
Right.
At least us,
100%,
right?
100%.
And I think you especially. Now it's like not even a little achievement. It's a huge achievement. It's a huge accomplishment. The last time that I think I saw you personally was, one of the last times, we were at How the Gringo Stole Christmas.
Yeah.
At the studio. And it was different, right? You were an actor then. And now you're here as a director.
Executive producer. Executive producer. And then the director's going to come to me. It is not even to correct you. No, don't get me in trouble now. Hey, he didn't direct shit.
And what the hell did you just say?
No, he said he did not direct.
Different.
Yeah, but it's...
How does it feel?
Wait. Hold on, dog. Come, look at that shit, dog.
Executive producer.
I thought you mentioned director. I don't know.
It's coming.
It's coming.
It's
coming. That's the next thing.
accomplishment.
That's maybe.
Damn,
That's
I'm
the
already
next
like
step.
another interview ahead.
Yeah, you're giving me another one.
Un morrito de Los Ángeles, de Guanajuato.
Just a
Would've
chill
thought,
guy
huh?
from Guanajuato.
Would've
Raised
thought.
in
That is
South
here, dog.
Central.
Bro, never in my wildest dreams. Never. It still hasn't really hit me. Because I'm very nonchalant about things, right? Like, even like accomplishments, I guess, like growing up in a Latino household, you don't really get hugged. You don't really get congratulated. I was just telling you, right, earlier, like 20 minutes ago. The first time my mom went to my high school, was graduation. That's it. No, like, parent conference. No, like, I was in sports. I probably didn't play. I was in the bench, but she wasn't in the stands, dog.
Okay, but you told her you scored fucking 5 goals, 3 assists.
But you could lie because she wasn't there. She wasn't there, so she didn't know.
Look,
I
I was playing football, and I would, like, throw dirt on my helmet, smack it on the concrete.
You was a water boy, Mrs. Mentiras.
I would, like, dirty my pants and so I could get home like I did something.
Damn, my mom beat us.
And my mom, get those pinches zapatos, the pinche mugroso. Like, nothing like, oh, that looks like I played. No, nothing. So I guess, like, that shaped me to be very, nonchalant about things. Right? Like, it is
Like, it's not a big deal.
Like, it's not a big deal. Like, you know what I mean? I think that's like, we say traumas or like background upbringings or whatnot. So I am very like, I guess I could say, like, I don't mind, like, the hug, I guess. Maybe it would feel nice, Because I'm telling my wife, like, let me hug you. You need a hug, And you're just kind of like...
all weirded out. You're like, I'm not used to this.
Cisco's that meme is like, I needed a hug, instead I want to go work.
I know.
Exactly, bro.
Said I want to produce a movie.
Yeah, so it is a big deal because, when you put it in those words, right? Like, never in a million years. Both my parents worked a 9 to 5, they worked in the fabrica.
Yeah.
I did live in a very small house. We didn't have much. My dad would take me to school in his bicycle. Like, my parents didn't drive. I was probably the only one that got an AA degree in my family. From ELAC, and to say, what I've been able to accomplish, It is a big achievement. It does feel good because, I've always worked with kids before I got into social media, and I always would like to tell them, like, look, dude, I came from the same upbringing you did. Mm-hmm. I went through the same background. This is why I could connect with you. And that's why I was so good at that job when I would work with kids. Because, and I was already doing social media, so they would see it, and they're like, they would get happy. Oh, I saw you on TikTok or whatnot. Or their family members would say it. And, it's, I guess to me, it's really just nice to just the show and tell to those kids that have those dreams or that feel like they're stuck in a specific place and time and life in their environment, that, it is possible. And even more so now with social media exploding so much that you could just do it from, like we did everything from our living room, right? Like our videos or whatnot, and you could just put yourself out there, and that's what I think I appreciate the most out of, like, just, like, look at me, man, like, and not to say like, look at me, like, look what I did, no, but like really uplift those people, and that's why I like connecting with the communities that I'm
that's an
from.
Amazing story. I mean, and I think it's very unmentionable that you come from Mexico. You get raised in South Central, and now you're an executive producer, full-time content creator. But you mentioned earlier that you had advice from the right people, and you spoke to the right people. So to do content creation at the level that you're doing it is not easy. What is a conversation or maybe a piece of advice that somebody gave you that really just locked you in and you said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to go after it, and this is how I'm going to do it? Was there something that was said to you that really altered your brain chemistry?
Not necessarily something, because I think for us, really when we first started content, it became almost like, kind of like out of necessity. My wife lost her job, right, at the time during COVID. She's pregnant, she loses her job. I'm working for Lyft at the time. I'm working for the LA County Sheriff's Department. I'm scared, but we're kind of doing these videos, right? So it really started almost out of like, I have a kid on the way. How am I going to provide for this individual that I'm about to bring into this world? And at the time, we were living in this small little house, and, we could, no foundation. We could hear our neighbors like, it was like, you got to be like, like you could hear everything. So the consistency part, it was almost like you swim or you drown, right? Yeah. So that's where it came as far as like the, being I'm this far, I can't go back, I can't fail. But to bring it to like the question that you're asking, like the piece of advice, once we kind of got to a certain point, it's just really just kind of believing in what you're doing, believing in the vision, right? Like setting those goals, like, okay, you're here now. What do you want to do next? Right? Tell me what you want, right? As far as like, whether it's your manager, whether it's other creators, and it's like, how can we get there? And game planning that. And that's really what it came down to, like with the being in a group, being with a team that also believe, like my manager believes in me more than I believe in myself. Like, and I would say that, and I will always say that. He believes in me more than I do. Like, he'll talk me up. We're in meetings sometimes. This guy's the biggest social media creator. I'm like, dog, chill, fool.
He's like, oh my God, 1 million followers.
You haven't heard about Shorty Bay, huh? Like, dog, yeah, will he do? Like, me? Like, nah, not chill. But, like, he'll believe in me. And that's really the surrounding yourself with the right people, right? Having someone that is going to knock doors for you, that like I could be content, like I'm doing okay, and what I mean, and then not doing okay as far as money goes, like I just feel like I have everything I need in my life. All I wanted was a family, a house, health, and I have all those three. So I honestly, like, everything I pray for, everything I've wished for, I have now. So it's like I'm good realistically. Like if I could have enough money to pay the house, I'll be at the park with the kids. I don't have to do, you know what I mean? But really, it comes down to having that person that just believes in you more, right? And that's one thing I learned, because I've always been very to myself, right? Like I've been with my wife for 12, 13 years now. So we've been together since we were babies. I mean, in our early 20s or whatnot. And, I have a close group of friends, a couple of my friends, and that I connect with. I don't really socialize with creators like that. I'm cool with them. I've met some and we're all good. But I'm kind of to myself. I'm a family person. By the time I started, I was already married, So I had to learn that a team is necessary. Like I was telling you guys earlier, like, it's so cool seeing you guys. You guys are a team, right? Like, you guys, if you're feeling down, she might pick you up. If you don't feel like doing today, come on, let's do it. Encouraging each other, right? So that would be really what helped me so much. Is just having a solid foundation of really someone that just believes in me more than myself at times.
I think that's important. Having someone that goes up to war for you.
Yeah.
Being around the right people that even if you're not in the room, they're speaking highly of you. And that, hey, you may, like, I mean, that's why we always speak highly of Joe and 33 Ave. It's like, we do our job and we do it well.
Yeah.
But she goes to war for us because she's the one that's, like, breaking down doors for us. Like, who would have thought that we would be traveling across the U.S., being paid for, and we're over here creating silly little content.
Silly little videos.
And now we're here, but how you said, our thing is, bro, look at where I came from. Look at what we did. This isn't normal. This wasn't talked about. This isn't always applauded upon, but we kept going. We stayed consistent. And we knew at one point it may pay off, but como dijiste, all we needed was para las tortillas, güey.
Yeah.
To go out to lunch or to go get a half a yard at Yard House with everybody. Like,
let me get a piece of that pie, man.
Oh, I could get an appetizer today? Oh, hell yeah.
Damn.
Ooh, I'm getting more
TikTok
than water.
paid well. What? Yeah. Let's do it.
So we didn't need too much, but the moment where we got it, in my head, I'm like, we can have this.
Yeah.
This is possible. So now, that, like, it's funny because when I go to work or when I coach, I have, like, either adults or, like, people we work with. They're like, dude, I see you on TikTok. I'm like, oh, yeah. We do that every now and then. It's like, nah, bro. And what always touches me, and I always give, like, my applause to it and thanks to, it's like, your content helped me. I'm like, that's my purpose. That's what we're here. Yeah, Man, Cisco, we literally had you spoke about your life in the last 30 minutes.
I know.
In a nutshell. Because there's so much that goes into it. There's so much that happens in between. And what always amazes me and where I look up to you very much is you're a full-time content creator, actor, producer, but you're a father.
Yeah. That's the best job right there.
How do you find the balance between all the things you mentioned and being a family man?
Oh, man. Like, for me, I always wanted to be a father. That was, like I said a while ago, right? Like, I just always wanted to be a father. So it's like, it just comes naturally to me. Like, I'm very, like, as much as I'm like, my parents didn't hug me, oh my God, I flower my kids with love. I am hugging them, I'm kissing them in their lips. I do the whole nine. I love being a dad, right? So that's like number one. Yeah. So they come first, right? So I think that's because I have that already, installed in me. That's everything else. That I balance everything else out, if that makes any sense, right? Everything surrounds them. We create the content when they're asleep or when he's in school, and that's really it, right? Like, I also am very lucky that this is my full-time career now, that I'm able to do this full-time.
How was that, inviting the internet into your family, into your relationship? And because I'm sure there's a lot that comes with it,
No, it is because it does get hard sometimes because you do put yourself out there, and as much content that we're creating, and they're seeing my kids and they're seeing my family. Obviously, people know us, and sometimes we're somewhere out and about. Today, I think we were eating right by our house. We were at this little table. We just ate before this little football game, and someone comes while we're eating. Hey, can I get a picture? I'm all for it. Yeah, let's take a picture. But obviously, that's part of the game, right? And we put ourselves out there. 100%. And I mean, we're used to it now. In the beginning, it was weird because it was like we were just creating content, not for the fame, not for the popularity or anything like that. We're just creating content to survive and, make a living. And obviously, people knowing you kind of comes with it. So now we're kind of used to it. There is times where it does get a little worrisome because we might be at a specific event, and sometimes we're with the whole family, and you have like this drunk guy coming up to us and, hey, let's take and I'm holding my kid in the hand, and I don't blame the guy. I mean, I know he might be a little intoxicated or whatnot. He's excited to see me, so I always show my respect back. But it does kind of get a little, challenging. Challenging part is, neighbors know who we are, right? Like, I'm in the front and truck pulls up and hey, what's up? And it's like, damn, like people know where we live,
Right.
How they know where we
you
live.
know. And we thought the further we moved from LA,
I'm going all the way
that
out there.
no, like no, la raza follows you everywhere.
We're everywhere, dog. We're
You know,
everywhere.
so you know it safety wise. I mean, obviously the house is fully protected. You know, the security system is on board. The cameras are on
Electrocuted
board.
fences and
There's
everything.
gonna be a little shark in the pool.
Yeah, we have a shark in the pool.
It's
you
a
know,
saltwater pool.
the snipers are all zoned in. So that's probably a little sometimes, you know, especially for my wife, because me, I'm the one that's obviously more so on camera.
Yeah.
My wife is more in the background. Obviously, they've seen her because she does here and there come out on videos, but she's more of like the mom. Like if it was up to her, we wouldn't be creating content. She would just be a mom,
Yeah.
you know, because that's what she loves too. So it does sometimes safety kind of becomes a thing that gets a little, especially in the world we live in now, where it's like, you know,
Yeah.
a lot of bad things that go on, and
course.
you know,
Yeah.
millions of people are seeing who my kids are and so on. So that's a little challenging, and
Yeah,
that's conversations that we've had.
Right.
That it's like, should we pull them out of our content, you know, and let them have like their kind of, you know, life, you know, because now we go to their school, and I think the teacher knows who we are at my son's school. So
It's funny that
it gets,
my two.
yeah, it gets a little, you know, that's kind of, I mean, it's not a bad thing, but because hopefully, you know, they give them an extra snack, like,
Or they're a little bit nicer because the mom's gonna put you on blast.
He might have failed the test, but he might have got a passing
give him an
grade.
A,
You gotta
yeah.
see. You never know.
give him an A, because if not, he's gonna make a video bashing the school.
He might
So-
talk. He might
He's gonna
talk,
tell his dad,
talk about us at the
my teacher was
podcast.
mean to me.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like, so it's pros and cons to it, but you know, you find it, you know, it's like is I guess something we chose to do,
Yeah.
you know, and now we're in it, and as time goes, we'll probably adjust a little bit, and you know, it's just part of the game.
Yeah.
I seen one of your videos not too long ago actually, and it really, how we said, your content is just relatable to the day-to-day man that is going out to work for their family,
Yeah,
for their kids, for their wife, to bring food to the table, house over them. And you did a video where you're coming to do a premiere or an event. I'm not too sure which one, but you were saying bye to your son.
yeah.
What's the hardest thing about leaving as a father?
You want me to hit you in the heart,
Please.
Hit us,
dog? Like not knowing if I'm gonna come back. That's like. And that's why I don't really do like events unless there's a purpose to it.
Yeah.
Unless I'm getting like paid, something has to like make sense in my mind that adds value, that like I'm being taken away at that moment. Especially because I'm like at home so much and I'm around them so much, but it's like not knowing if I'm gonna come back.
Yeah.
Like that day, the event was in Hollywood,
Yeah.
right? Like in Sunset or something like that. Late event. I'm driving in the freeway at 11 at night. You just, on a Thursday, I
never
think
know.
it was. You just never know. And when you're saying bye to your family, and my son is there crying because I'm leaving, right? It's like that's really like not knowing if I'm gonna come back, because you just never know.
Yeah, I
Like
think-
you know, we don't know when is our last day. We don't know if today's our last day, tomorrow, whatever it may be. But that's the hardest.
Yeah, I think it was Inky Johnson who had said, he was like, the most underrated blessing was to leave your house and making it back home.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah.
you never know what, you could be the safest ever, but
Yeah.
you never know what external, other people, the road, weather,
Yeah.
whatever the case may be, and you're just like, because at what point did your son realize what dad does for work? Or like, when did you realize, damn, my son knows what I do?
Man, I mean, he's obviously been in the camera since a baby.
Yeah.
But just now, when like I'm like in the office, right, and he'll knock, and it's funny because this happened today. I swear to you, on anything I love, Pepe, like this happened today. I'm in the office because I'm writing this campaign thing for a brand deal that we're doing. So I'm like trying to catch up on work because we're gonna leave or whatnot. My son still takes a nap, so he wakes up, and he knows I'm in there, right? So he starts knocking on the door. He calls me Baba. Baba, open the door. Come play with your kid. You know, like stop working. Like, and it's like, Oh my God, it melted me. I put that computer, I didn't finish it. That thing is, I was supposed to submit that today. I shut it down, dude.
Don't wait.
And I'm like, you know what? I opened the door. What are you doing, man? Stop working. I'm like, bro, I barely work, man. I'm in here when you're asleep. And he's just like, come play with it. The funniest thing, it just made me laugh. Like, come play with your son. Like, dude, like, I'm your toy all day. From the minute you get home from school, you wake up. I'm like out in the front with, you know what I mean? Like, because I'm very involved. But it's just, I just thought it was like, he just kind of knows, right?
Yeah.
Or if we pull out the camera and he's like, oh, you guys about to work? You guys about to work?
Oh.
And it was just like, yeah, baba. And then he's like, okay, but you got to buy me a toy. Because sometimes I'm like, he'll be like in the background and I'll be like, hey, papi, can you we're working or whatnot. Okay, what, 5 minutes? 5 minutes? Give me 5 minutes, bro, and I promise you we'll be done in 5 minutes. And then you could be as loud as you.
We'll go to Target or Walmart after.
Yeah,
please.
and sometimes he's just in the background, just looking at us, like just amazed. And it's the cutest thing. Sometimes he'll be like, "Great job, guys," and he'll clap because we're like acting right, like he knows that we're not really fighting. But in the background, we're like, all right, he'll know that we stopped. Great job, guys. Like, it is like the cutest, so he kind of understands it now, like, that we're obviously doing, or today, this is another one. I'm over here, like, talking about my kids.
No, go for
There's
it.
another one. We're sitting, the lady that came to take a picture,
Uh-huh.
and then he goes, like, he's eating, his little sandwich, and he's like, Keena loves Cisco, guys. Keena loves Cisco. And it's like, where did you learn that from? Like,
Biggest hype, man.
yeah, like, and I'm like, where does he knows that's our handle?
Yeah.
Like our social media.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't tell him that much. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you can find me, Azel, if you want to tell your friends at school, Keena loves Cisco. I never do that.
Shout him out.
So it's like, how does he, he doesn't have Instagram.
It's like follow, like, subscribe to on
I know, he's like your little walking
He's gonna
promo.
be the end.
walking billboard.
Every time
Yeah.
we do like Jack say the last message, that's gonna be him.
That's gonna be him.
It's like,
No,
Keena loves Cisco.
I think it's just so cute because it's funny. Like today, I took my kids to Target, but because my son got another perfect score on his test, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna reward him. The more he does good, the more I reward you. And I swear, we bought him a toy, and then we bought him the K-pops, and I'm with my daughter too, so we're leaving, and I just hear Genevieve, my daughter, she's like, "Today's the best day ever."
No.
And then I hear Noah, and Noah's like, "Daddy, thank you for bringing me. I love you." And I'm like,
It's crazy.
I was at together in strings. Huh?
I thought it was just
He's
my
like, we're
kid,
going
but
back inside.
"Nah, bro," because like
they're all the
smart.
same,
Yeah, I
dog. That's
know,
what my
dude.
kid tells me too, man.
I know.
They're learning this somewhere.
That's all kids.
so like when we like they know like if we have to do something and it's during the week, like I pick up my kids all the time.
Yeah.
I don't care the schedule. I don't whatever it is. If I'm not getting paid or it's not really making sense, don't call me.
Yeah.
I'm not missing this. So with them, if I'm missing, like when we travel, thankfully when we've got into travel, I just tell them the day before, like, hey, like I won't see you tomorrow. I won't pick you up. Daddy needs to go to work. Oh, the podcast? I'm like, yeah, podcast. Oh, okay. And this hugs me, and I'm like, I'm trying to hold it in, dog. I can't do this.
Yeah.
But I think that's the thing, like you have so many titles.
Yeah.
So many accomplishments, so many trophies, and yet still more to come. But the biggest title and the most, the biggest blessing is being a dad.
Yeah, 100%, bro.
Do you think the way you father your kids, your little man, your little girl, it's different than the way you were raised?
Oh, hell yeah.
And that inspired you in a way?
Yeah, 100%. I definitely broke that, like, generational curse, the change that they say. Like, I'm very loving. Dude, I cry left and right. Dude, I'll be looking at my son's picture. I'm there crying like a baby, bro. Like, and it doesn't matter where I'm at, like, I have no shame in crying, but definitely just being, not that my dad did a bad job. I mean, he kind of did, but, he did what he could.
turned out all right.
Like, he did what he could, and it's been forgiven.
Yeah.
But definitely doing just things way different, just being more, present, being more emotionally receptive to emotions, to hugs, to kisses, to, you know, like showering them with love, you know, and it's not that that's because that's what I wanted, but that's just kind of like, that's just what's coming out of me. You know what I mean? Being more, whether it's taking them to school, whether it's waking up in the morning, doing their hairs to take, because sometimes it's me that takes it. We like rotate. So I'm the one up, brushing his teeth, brushing his hair because he has long hair, brushing his hair, doing his little ponytail, giving him his food and making sure he has a water bottle, looking at the calendar. Okay, what are you guys supposed to take today? Little things like that, and just taking him to school, picking him up. Little things that, you know, I'm not saying that, yeah, my father definitely didn't do, but it's probably because he couldn't, you know, so I'm not going to bash my father on that, but just kind of being more, I guess, present would 100%. Be the word, right?
Yeah.
And that's the difference for sure.
The emotional part is the difference maker.
Yeah.
You know, showing your kids that, yeah, you got to be tough, but hey, if you need to cry, it's okay. I got you.
Yeah.
Like if you need to cry, instead of like, aguántate, vete pa allá, no llores. You're like, because I'm the same way. I'm like, now come here, let me hug you.
Yeah.
And like he's mad, throwing stuff or hitting me. I'm just like, let me give you a hug, bro. I don't want it. I'm like, let me just give you a hug. Yeah. We're good. Like, we'll be all right.
You know, it's funny because it still comes out, right? Like, our parents, like, hey, get your ass up, stop crying. Yeah. And then sometimes you got to be like, oh, you know, like, you know, you'll snap because kids are going to annoy you. Yep. They're going to annoy you. They're going to frustrate you. You're going to scream at them while you're driving. If you don't sit your ass down, you know. And, you know, like, you get frustrated with them. And sometimes it comes out and I'm not a perfect father. I'm not a perfect, you know, husband. And sometimes it does come out, you know, the screams come out or the, you know, like the, ooh, boy. If I had a bell right now, you know, it still comes out.
Go to the changing room right now, right?
Vas a ver cuando lleguemos a la casa.
You know, but it's really about correcting, you know. It's really about 100%. Just correcting your, you know, your behavior as to like, because you're not going to be a perfect father. You're not going to be a perfect husband, but it really just comes down to correcting, you know, what you displayed at that moment. Because I'm not perfect. I do scream at him. Oh, hell yeah. They're right, you know.
Yeah, hell
but then sometimes it's like, was that necessary? Was it really, did I have to? You know, do I really want him to go to school after I just screamed at him, you know? So let me scale back. Let me correct my mistake. You know, he's only 4. I'm frustrated. I'm tired. I'm whatever it may be. Let me correct my behavior. Let me make sure he goes into school with a smile, not him thinking that I'm mad at him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Definitely not giving him like, hey, let's stop for some McDonald's real quick before you go. Just more of like the affirmations, more of like the explaining on like, hey, my bad, Papa. Yeah, screaming at you.
You may not like this one, but Des Bryant. Yeah. You already know who he is. Legend. Legend.
Come on now.
Legend in the Cowboys. But he had wrote a quote that helped him with his kids. And it kind of like just changed my perspective too. Like how you said, I'm not a perfect father, but one of them was like, you can't expect your kid to have a good day after yelling at them.
Right.
You can't expect them to have a good night after yelling at them and getting them in trouble.
Yeah.
You know? So now the way I talk to them, yeah, some days you are going to be tough because you need to shape them into the person they're going to grow up to be. And it's definitely a reflection of you. But then there's some days too where it's like, hey, if I'm tired because we're up every day or we're doing this and that, and I'm already at almost 30 and you're only 5, how do I not expect you to be tired and frustrated and emotionally? You don't know. You have no idea how to handle these emotions yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we're at this age and we're still learning.
Yeah.
And imagine as a little one that you don't even know how to do this. Who's responsible for that?
Right.
It's us.
Comes down to that.
You have a son and a daughter.
Yeah.
What's the difference in parenting?
Man, it's I mean, like for me, bro, it's crazy because my son was really attached to his mom, right? Wifey. And I was always kind of like the friend. You know, like, you know, I'm the playful one.
Buddy.
I'm like I'm just like his toy, right? But he was very attached to her. Like everything was mom, put me to sleep. It was her. Yeah. The roles are like just reverse. Like she doesn't have a mom, bro. Like she's like the caregiver. She's like the housemaid. My wife can't really hold my hand because she'll come and like my baba. Like she's very overprotective over me. Bro, I've never been loved like I'm being loved right now by her, bro. It's the most amazing thing ever. You know what I mean? Like, you see the difference. And people would always say, like, girls are this way, boys are this way. And, you know, I never really put like any thought to that. To like now that I'm experiencing it, it's like I'm like her world, bro. So to me, it's like, oh man, I better like straighten the f up. Like I want to make sure that I'm that role model. I want to make sure that like there's no boy out there that's gonna like window her and like win her over with like a little rose and like I'm gonna set the standard, bro. Like, oh, you better open the door, you better put your jacket on the floor if it's raining, like all
the
that
sidewalk rule, everything,
all that. Like I don't wanna, how can I say it, not that it's a thought that crosses my mind, but I don't want to fail her in a sense of saying like, like as a father or a husband, right? Like failing her, like I want to make sure that like she knows like this is what a man is, this is what a husband should be, and when she does get older, like the boyfriend or her future husband better meet like the standards of her father
and then some
and more, bro. You know what I mean? So that's kind of like what I'm living by now.
Lots of roles to fill. So how do you balance that, being a father, the leader, the content creator, everything?
I have no idea, man. It's so hard. I got gray hair now. I didn't have it before. I got grays now. I told my barber go a little higher.
You can't see him. You can't see him. Don't worry.
I told her to go higher. Like, next thing you know, I'm gonna be bald. But it's just I don't know, man. It's just really just putting my head down and just keep walking, keep going. Whether you're tired, you just got to keep going. You have a family, to look after, to take care of. And that's a question that somebody probably give you an answer to. But my answer would be like, I don't know. I'm just doing it.
Trying to figure it out.
I'm figuring it out as I go. Like I said, I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere near perfect. I learn from my mistakes. I try to learn from, the knowledge my wife, might give me. When you bring me roses, bring her roses too. And it's like, all right, that's what's gonna happen. So now I come home with roses for her. I come home with roses for the daughter too.
What's something you value now that you didn't before?
I think time, bro. Like time. It's like probably what I'm valuing the most now, because it's like as when you're young, you're just living so fast. You're really not thinking too much of like the future, the outcome of things, right? Like you're and it's no one's fault. We're young. We're living life. Yeah. But at this point, it's just you start kind of.
It's all good.
Shit, that's a good question. So it's time. It's just really, it's just time. Like how much time you have here on Earth, how much time you have with your family. That's really what I value the most. And now I just want to be with my family. Yeah. That's really, obviously, friends and so on whenever it makes sense, but just kind of appreciate the time that I do have here, with the right people, with my family, with my loved ones, being there at every performance or whatnot for the kids, whatever it may be, right? Yeah. So it's like that's my value now. Just time. Like,
what makes you emotional with this? There's something that triggers it, and
so I don't know, man. It's like, my best friend passed away like a year ago, a couple of weeks ago now, and he was basically my age, right? And I just always thought I was gonna have him in my life, right? Like we were gonna grow old. I've known him since I was 3. Went to school together. We vacationed together. My wife and his wife, best friends. My best man, I was his best man. And we just did everything together. And he really was my brother, right? And when, we find out, he has cancer, it just like rippled everyone's life, like within our circle, right? Yeah. And him knowing that he's my age and a healthy guy, right? Mm-hmm. You don't think that something like that is going to happen to you, right? And it might have. Like, it might have happened to you. You might have lost someone. It hadn't happened to me to that magnitude. So when it did happen, the last 5 years of him battling cancer and, like, is such a horrible like disease because it deteriorates a human, like the body, and you see the change of like this living person of who you remember, personality, image, everything, hair, talk, everything, right? And as the time is progressing and you start seeing a deterioration of this person, and you're going through trials of chemo and it's not working, it is working, it's not, and this emotional roller coaster, and you're just holding on to hope. This is stage 4 cancer that he was going to, so it's like the last cancer, right, that you could possibly have. But you're holding on to this hope, like you're young, you know, you've been doing it for 5 years. What's another 5, dog? Like, you know? And when you're like in that world, because we were in that world, right? Because it's my best friend, so we visited him a lot. He visited us throughout the time. And it gets to the point where the final, like, ticking time comes, and you're just know, like, all right, like, you know he's not going to make it past this week. And it happens. You really take I guess for me in my age and my time, it's like you really take a picture of like, you're just not promised tomorrow. Yeah. Time is time, and you don't know how much time you have. You might make it to 80, you might make it to 35 like he did, but it makes you appreciate, you know, life, and it makes you scared, right? Because it's like, that could be me. Yeah. That could be so-and-so. That could be my wife. That could be my kid. And so it makes you appreciate life just a little bit more. It makes you miss someone. You go through grief, and you go through all these emotions that I never experienced. And I at one point didn't think I was going to be able to get through that stage, the grieving stage. And it's just so hard. And it's so hard. But, you know, there's always a lesson to something, right? To a situation. You always learn something. And I think like that situation there, as much as I miss him, it makes me appreciate now like how valuable life really is, and how you not being here really affects someone else, right? Because sometimes we don't think about how us not being here affects, you know, family members, friends, and so on. And he doesn't get to see that because he's not here. And maybe he knew it would affect us, but he's not here to really see what's happening in the afterlife and stuff. So, I mean, I went on the rant there, but, man, like that's really what it just comes down to, man.
We're just talking about grief, right? And your friend, if he was here and you could tell him anything, what would you tell him?
Ah, man. I think I probably would be more expressive, you know, because we're so close, we're so connected. But we never really like. It was always, you know, like when you have your boy, like, I love you, baby, I'll talk to you later. Yeah. All right, take care, you know. But I think it would just be, I would show more like affection, you know, like more hugging opposed to the hugging towards the end, right? That we, or the talks that we had towards the end. It would just be more of like showing like the love and like, you know, thank you for. He was like a year older than me, so he really always kind of took care of me because I was a little younger, I was a little shorter. So I just never really like expressed certain things, like the thank yous for, you know, being a brother to me, you know, the thank yous for, you know, watching after me or guiding me, because there was a point in time I was tagging up on the walls and I was reckless. And, you know, he kind of brought me over here like, dude, stop doing that, man. Why don't you come play with us football over here? And that's how I got into football. And, you know, and I just kind of went with the flow. But it was just like, I would just appreciate, I would show more gratitude, right? More with words and hugs and, you know, it's not that I didn't, but I think when you're at this point, it's like you wish you would have done more. But you got to understand, like, I don't think there's more that we're always going to wish we would have done more. We would have said more. And unfortunately, it's just, I think that's just part of like the human life when you lose someone you love. Like you always feel like I should have done more.
Right.
Yeah. No, I got me too, because I thought about my best friend too. That, I mean, unfortunately, he left a way that lost the battle mentally and stuff. But same thing. The moment you're saying that, I'm thinking like, yeah, man, I wish I would have hugged him a little longer last time. Like instead of like a salud, hey bro, I'll see you next time. Love you. Hey, take care. Hey, I'm gonna invite you next time. Like in my head, like right away, I'm like, man, maybe I should have hugged him a little longer.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have called sooner or more often. And you're just I think when you lose somebody in this stage of life, you're just kind of like, the what ifs always kill you. And no matter what anybody tells you, you have the what if. Like, what if I would have done this more? What if I would have went there? Mm-hmm. And I mean, even recently, something happened with some of my close friends, and I missed a festivity because I was out working, and then I just ended up hanging out with my friends. And then a week later, shit happens. I'm like, what if I would have gone?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have changed anything, but I would have had another memory.
Right.
So the what ifs always kill you, man. But I know you post that you're very open about your grief and your process. And man, my hat off to you, and honestly, I admire you, dog.
Thank you, man.
Sharing that is really, I think, something that can connect with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it touches. But I have a question for you, because it's something that we talk about a lot. Because obviously grief is one thing when you lose somebody, but have you ever had grief with somebody who's still alive? And what are your thoughts on that?
Not necessarily too much. I think like the closest to someone is probably like my father. Like there was a period of time, like growing up, there was a point where we really didn't get along. He moved away, and there was a period of time where like we really just didn't speak, right? Like we just kind of our own separate ways. So there was a grief there where like I kind of like I wish I could talk to him more. I wish he was around a little bit more, because he decided to go and live in Mexico, and it's like, that was his decision, kind of leave, in the middle of, I know him and my mom weren't working anymore, and I understood that because I was older, but it was just kind of that where like, you kind of always wish or hope that your parents stay together, right? Mm-hmm. Not necessarily like for you, but maybe for them, maybe for the younger siblings or whatnot. And him like taking off, it was more so on like them, like I wish there was a better connection. Thankfully, we were able to like kind of rekindle that at one point as I got a little more older, and we were able to like speak about everything as adults. And
but does that come from you though, being able to like, hey dad, we're not in a good standing, we have a lot of hurt, a lot of how we say trauma, let me take the initiative to rekindle this.
Yeah, 100%, bro. And that's when you look at it from that perspective, it is sad, right? Because it should come from the father. I feel it should, at least. I mean,
people always. Yeah, that's kind of how the society plays it. Yeah, parents should always be the one taking the control.
And like, I mean, and I kind of believe that to a degree, but at the same time, my type of personality, I don't really hold grudges. I'm a very like forgiveful like person. I'm not like. I could stop talking to someone and we might have a riff, but you don't really bother me or change my life, and eventually I'll forgive, and that's just kind of how I am. Like I don't hold on to.
You're a great man.
He's like, looking at you because he's like, could never be me.
Yeah, yeah, I'm really not. And then like we might have like a fallout, but if I see you, hey, what's up, man, and act like nothing happened,
it's not that serious.
Yeah, but that's just kind of how I've always been, So even with like my father, it was just it did come from me, My mom was in Mexico, he was here from Mexico, and I just kind of brought it up, and we started talking, and I don't regret it because now we do talk to each other. Nice. He got a chance to meet my children. He got a chance to see what I've done for myself, right? Because I do remember, hurtful things that came from his mouth, like, calling me a pendejo, or if I dressed a certain way, pinche cholo, or whatever, kind of like putting you down, right? Well, putting me down. And, as I'm getting older, you kind of, we were talking about this earlier, like you want those affirmations, and a lot of the times the things that we do, we're doing them for ourselves, but we're also doing it to like the approval to some degree. You know what I mean? Yeah, 100%. And to me, it was always like chasing more, and I finally struck in social media, and it changed my life, and I was able to buy a house. I have kids, and I've done well for myself. So to be able to show that to them, because I appreciate them. At the end of the day, they sacrifice so much for me, coming to this country, a foreign country, not knowing the language, working, at a fabrica 5-6 days out of the week, everything they did, as hard as he was. My mom was a little nicer. As hard as he was on me, at the end of the day, he sacrificed what he knew back in this country, everything he knew, right? So he sacrificed ultimately something to give me a better life. So to me, despite everything I was doing through my time, I always wanted to make sure I made them proud, 100%. Right? Like I wanted to make sure that their sacrifice didn't go to waste, and now to be able to come and like, hey, look, like I this is what I did for myself. Ultimately, thanks to you. If you wouldn't have came here, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. So it's neat to be able to like, you could come and stay in my house and you have a room here if you need to. Like we have plenty of space, and him visiting and being around my kids, and now I'm doing something for him. It's the best feeling in the fucking world. I'm sorry for cursing.
Sorry. Like in a retrospect too, like if you didn't have the upbringing you have, I honestly think you wouldn't appreciate what you have right now.
Right. And I don't think I would be here if I was, you know what I mean? As mad as I might be, as like this trauma that I went through and so on, that shaped me to who I am. Yeah, right. Working at 15 nonstop and doing it for myself, being independent. That wouldn't have been me.
Have you heard the words "I'm proud" come from your parents, or do you just see it in their actions?
My mom, my dad, no.
How did it feel? How did it feel though? Like to hear those words coming from your parents.
That's probably like the best feeling, because it's like deep down, like she doesn't ask for anything. If I try to give her anything, whether it's money, no, she doesn't want nothing. And I'm not the type of person, hey, mom, here's $10,000 and put it on. I don't do that. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like that. That's not what I'm talking about. But more so of like, I know that if you need anything, like, I got it. You. I got you. Like, and that's the best feeling in the world. And definitely hearing the I'm proud, like when we did the movie. And
is that when it came? Or when was the first time your mom said, Miko, I'm proud of you?
I want to say probably when I got my house. When she came and, like, I invited them over for the first time. They never doubted, like, what are you doing? They never put me down on social media or anything like that. They knew what I was doing, but I wasn't living with them. So it was like, hey, dude, he's paying his bills. I don't know what the hell he's doing. She might have Facebook, but, that's it. But it was never to say that she put me down as to, like, what I was doing in my side of life, but just definitely like inviting her to the house, like when we first moved, and my family coming over and her just kind of looking. Not that I have a mansion or anything like that, but it's like you did it. Like you got your place. Like I'm proud of you. Like knowing that her grandkids are well taken care of. Yeah. Her hugging my wife, because my mom would tell you that the reason why I am who I am and how I am and how straight of a line I walk is because of my wife. Like she thanks her because I was reckless before her. Like I was moving fast.
I was going to ask, how much truth is there to that?
Man, probably a lot. Because I wasn't a gangbanger or nothing like that. But I was like living a party life. Like in the middle of the street, half asleep, and my best friend waking me up like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you sitting here? Like, go inside the house. That type of fast, right? Like, just partying every day and really worrying her, like what if something could happen to you?
Well, I think as parents, I mean, even now, like, that's what I think we were talking about last time. Before, you would go around the block and your parents wouldn't care. Yeah. Now my son goes one house over like, hey, wait,
where I can see you.
Yeah. Get your ass back inside.
Or like climb the slide. I was like, cuidado, way. And I'm just like, oh, no. And before, I'm just like, did my parents not care? Well, I was riding the bicycle.
They didn't love me.
Bro, I was away for like 30 minutes and there's no worry.
Nah.
It's like, oh, you're back? Okay. Now I'm like,
he has an air tag on the son's shoe.
I don't miss with him. I do want to bring up, because I think it's just very important, and I'm telling you, bro, you're leading so much by example. You went to therapy.
Yeah, yeah.
How did therapy help you, and how do you describe therapy?
So really, therapy happened because me and my wife were in a rough patch. That's really what it happened. Like, and I'm very open. Like you guys spoke, I'm very open about my life, about just was. I'm an open book. You see it in social media, right? I don't know if I've ever made a video about this, which I don't think so, but I might have spoken about it. But like any relationship is not perfect, right? Like especially when you're with someone for so long, and we were together from a very young age, young adults, and as you get older, you go through different stages, right? You're growing, and in a marriage relationship, it's almost like you have to try to grow together, right? Like that's the only way a relationship, a marriage works. Because sometimes in marriage or in a relationship, when you're young and in love, but then you hit 25 and little values start changing. Then you get to your 30s, and the woman might be more, I want to be at home and start thinking of a family. The man might be like, I'm not ready or whatever, or career paths, or etc. So that's key to really starting I feel like a perfect foundation or a solid marriage. But like anything is hard, right? To kind of grow together, stay in the same lane, have the same values, stick to, what's the goal, why we are with each other or whatnot. And if we're not, if we're kind of drifting, acknowledging that we're drifting, right? That we're drifting apart. Your value is here, my value is here. I care about this now, you care about that now. And I just kind of feel like when I got married and I decided to get married, I didn't do it for papers. I already had my papers, dog. So it wasn't for papers to keep that straight for the record. For the record, I was 18. I was way before her, but it was really to marry my best friend, marry someone that I'm gonna grow old with, that our kids are going to have both parents. Now, I'm not saying stay with each other just for the kids, because obviously that's not healthy, but really fight for your marriage, fight for your relationship. And if therapy, is part of that plan, then, therapy is part of that plan. And that's really what it was, right? We were in a little rough patch, and we just decided to say, hey, look, like, we're having issues. For whatever reason it may be, we need to do something about this, or it's about this bridge is about to collapse. And I agreed, and I've always been receptive to, I mean, whether I thought it was dumb or whether I didn't believe in it, like, I'm gonna talk to this lady for or whatever. I've always been receptive to, well, I'm gonna fight for my marriage, right? Like, let me try it, let me see. And I think it did help me a lot, because when you're at a point in life where, your life really just revolves around your children and your wife, and you're at home 24/7, both of you guys, we have it hard. Like, and I'm talking about like us and whoever stay-at-home parents that work from home. It is hard, right? Because we're rubbing shoulders 24/7. Let's say you might have a girlfriend, or you might have a boyfriend, husband. You go to work for 8 hours, he goes to work for 8 hours. You kind of miss each other. You get home, you're there for a few hours and so on. But us, we're 24/7, 2 years in, 3 years in. And it's like, I'm tired of seeing you. We're rubbing, like, now little things are bothering you. So in our space, we have that challenge. So that's like a big balance that we have to balance, right? Because we're with each other way too much, more than the average marriage.
It's beauty working from home, but
it's also,
but it's not also, it's just, I don't think it's healthy, like, to, it's not normal for people to be together 24/7 and not butt heads. You know what I mean?
It's really not. You're 100% right. It's not, because
it's really hard.
As humans, we need social interaction. We need our own space. We need to talk to someone else, etc. So it's really just find that's really a big balance. As we were talking earlier about balance, that's like the big balance. And when it comes down to marriage, it could get shaky, right? And especially when social media is what provides for our family, and we need to record videos. If we're not happy, those videos are not happening.
Show.
Or we're really arguing in the video.
This was not a script.
And cut. Like, don't bother me the rest of the day. Like, and we're just doing the video just to do the video, right?
This wasn't a joke this time.
She was actually upset at you this time.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, there is, and there has been 100%. There's been times where, you know what? Let's stop recording. It's not happening. It's not working right now. Like, let's just take a break, and we'll get mad and boom, spaz out, and then come back. But I think therapy definitely, it was short lived. It wasn't like I wasn't there for like a year, but it did the 6 months that I was there. It was weekly.
Yeah. It was what did you learn about yourself?
So it was interesting because, when you think of therapy, you think like this, right? Sitting down with someone, but it kind of changed. Like, we were doing, like, ever since COVID, I think everything is Zoom now.
Mm-hmm.
So we found like this, company called BetterHelp, I want to say. And my therapist, she was amazing. Like, I got, like, the first session, you're just kind of getting to know each other, and she was super cool. I was like, I could do this. But really, what the value that she kind of brought, this is a time when my friend was going through chemo, so I had that also on my shoulders. The relationship, like, bump road on my shoulders. They give you, like, you obviously talk about what's going on. So you get to talk to someone openly like this about how was your week this week at home with your wife. Because they obviously do an assessment, like, with marriage counseling or whatever it's called.
You get to pick your counselors, right, and the type of counseling
you kind of get someone assigned. But if you don't like her, you could request someone else, and they give you someone else till you find, like, your match.
Okay.
So they kind of match you with the person they think would be perfect for you, right? Like, there's this whole algorithm to it. And what's nice is you have someone on a weekly basis for an hour to just kind of talk about what's going on, what worked. But she would give me, like, homework. Like write. And then she would email me the thing, like, write 10 things you love about your wife. Right? Like that. Mm-hmm. And then every week it varies or whatnot. And then I would do that. Then I would come and 1, it was this, 2 was this, why, and we'll talk about that, and just little things like that as to, like, reflecting or what would you like to change or whatever. And she was really cool where it's like you could invite her to your sessions. So then sometimes it would be both of us in this, session, because she had her own, therapist, because you really don't share the same therapist, right? For, like,
that makes sense,
reasons or whatnot. But sometimes we would do, like, joint, like, where they would tell her, write 10 things you love about your husband that he's good at. Yeah. And we'll be there, like, kind of love bombing each other and stuff like that. And so it was just more like a redirection to kind of remind us about why we are with each other and so on. But then it got expensive and we had to cut it out.
BetterHelp sponsorship.
Yeah, no, because I mean, in reality too, it's how you said. I think we spoke about it last podcast where it's like, I think it was Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you ever seen that video, but he's talking about relationships. Is that you have to remember sometimes one is running, the other one's walking.
Yeah.
And the one that's running cannot forget about your partner, because if you go too far ahead, then what happens? You build that space and you're kind of like, well, you're not with me, I'm not with you. We're doing shit apart. We're not caring for each other anymore. And I think I love that everything you just said about that, because I think earlier in our episodes we've talked about how a lot of our Hispanic Mexican parents stayed with each other porque por los niños.
Yeah. The bills, the rent.
They slept in different rooms.
Yeah, parents.
They didn't say I love you. They
La
never
costumbre.
hugged. La costumbre.
Yeah.
They never hugged or anything. And when they went to whatever event or whatever, like they no se querían, güey. Like, you seen them argue.
The dad is over there with the uncles drinking. The mom is over here with the kids.
Chismeando.
So now, like, as having so many resources, it's like, if you want to fix it, there's opportunities. Yeah. But also don't stay with somebody just because you're accustomed and you're afraid of. Because at the end of the day, the only people that do suffer, it's not the parents. It's the little ones that are watching you. Because if you stay with someone that isn't loving, isn't caring for you, then you're showing your son or daughter this is what relationships are.
Right.
And then now you're growing up with a fucked up ass relationship because I see my parents not love each other ever. This is normal.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh wait, it's not normal.
It's not.
It's not normal. So man,
It's true.
You change the narrative of the way you grew up.
Yeah, 100%.
You worked on your relationship when it needed work. You became the father you always needed.
Yeah.
And you're leading by example on when your kids get to the age of chasing dreams.
Yeah.
You're chasing the dream.
Chasing it, bro.
You know what I mean? They're not going to sit there and be like, Dad, what did you always want to do? It's like, I'm doing it.
Yeah. You're just doing it. Yeah. And it's true, man. And it's just valuable. And you learn, you learn as you go. It takes two to tango, right? It takes two to make something work. Yeah. Like you just said, like you both got to want it, right? If not, it's just not going to work. One can want it more than the other. It can't always be about the kids, because as much as you think you're really helping them, like you said, you're really not. Yeah. Because they're seeing that whether maybe you're not screaming at each other, but they do see what's going inside those four walls.
And the worst is when your kids see you cry. They're like, why are you crying?
Mommy made daddy cry.
Because my price picks didn't go through today. Man. What has the love that your wife has showed you about the meaning of love?
I think just really just being caring and really just opening that door to like my feelings, that I could talk to someone about like my true feelings, how I'm feeling, that, it's okay to express. Yeah. And that's one thing that just kind of works for us. Like, we're very expressive at home, we're really express our, discomforts, our issues, and so on. So it's like just really having that. It's almost like saying like that open door policy.
Yeah.
That, and she's very loving, she's very like, if I'm down and she sees it, she just knows when to hug me. And it's like, if I just she knows that I need a hug, like it'll be a hug. If she knows that I need to be alone, go ahead, take your time. I mean, and it comes through time. Like, we've been together for so long. We were young, we were friends, and, we became parents together, and marriage, and now we're in this space and social media, and we're always kind of like adapting to things. But that's really just, I think we just always were on the same road, like the same route, like, let's stick together, let's go left together, let's go right together, just being supportive, like through it all, social media, the movies, now this thing here that, executive producing this movie, like every step of the way, she's just kind of been supportive. So it's really nice to have that backbone, that friend, and so on. So it's like that. I'm just lucky, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like Mother's Day, we went out together. We were so awkward, bro. We're in Rancho over here at some like bar, like a rooftop bar.
Yeah. Oh, I think I've heard about it today. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that, what was it called? Somebody said the name? I thought I heard the name of it.
It's a new one.
Yes, this is a new bar, bro. We were there. We were so awkward. We were sitting there like, what do you think the kids are doing?
FaceTiming the kids.
Missing the kids.
We weren't used to it, dude.
And then your next challenge is go out without talking about the kids.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
It's gonna be a
yeah.
Hey, whoever talks about the kids pays the bill.
Hey, do you remember this picture when the baby? That's us.
They look so cute.
We're sitting at a restaurant talking about the kids.
Oh man. Well, I know we're coming almost to the end, but you have a big project.
Yeah, man.
You posted it today on your social media. If you're not following, you gotta go follow. I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Yes.
Talk about it.
yes.
What is it? What's the project?
Bro, I almost forgot that that's why I was here. I thought I was just
So
chilling with
much,
the boys. I was like chilling like that. Y'all got me. Hey, I find any reason to leave the house. Any reason. A podcast, hell yeah. Don't give me a thumb.
I find any reason to cheese me out.
I was like, that was a liar. He said he doesn't leave the house. No. But in all seriousness, yes, man. So I'm executive producer in a movie. Me and the manager, Bill Shadarf. And the movie is called Diablo. That's the name of the movie. Sure. It comes out June 13 on a Friday. And it has Scott Adkins in the movie. He's a dope-ass fighter. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but he's like into UFC. He's this actor. He's been in some movies, bro. So he's an actor, fool.
Okay.
Right.
But look, I've watched this movie like 5 times already, 6, because I've been through the process of like if finish recording, then you go through post-production where you see the movie kind of raw without music. Then you see the movie with music but not color graded. Then you see the extended version. You got to shorten it, maybe take this out, put this in. So by this time, fool, I'm sick of it, dude. You know, I'm sick of the way I've seen it like 5-6 times. But I will say it's called Diablo, and it's an action movie. So I honestly I do love it. It's an action movie, so there's a lot of fighting. I want to say for sure it's rated R, bro. It's rated R for sure. So it's an action movie, a lot of fighting, not for kids. So don't sit down with the kids, put them to sleep.
Make it a date night.
Make it a date night. It's gonna be in selected theaters. It's gonna be on demand. Everything is on demand now. Like most movies, they come out. You could order it on Amazon.
2 weeks later, it's already online.
Yes. That same day is gonna be online. You'll be able to like order it for like $6.99 or something like that. But no, look, it's a good action movie. It was made in Colombia, so there's Latino representation. Obviously, Latino, country or whatnot.
Say that again.
There's Latinos in the movie because it was based in Colombia as well. So there's Latinos. Obviously, Scott Adkins is in it. I don't know, he's not Latino. I just found out he's just like from the UK or so. No, he's English. Like we were in a Zoom call.
He's invited to the carne asada.
He's invited. He's invited for sure. But I don't know. I thought he was white, like from America somewhere. And then we're like in this Zoom call, and he just started sounding all British.
Accent. Hello.
Yeah, like, hello.
No,
hello, governor.
It's just like the actor from All American, Spencer James.
Yes.
You're like, he's from the
like
hood.
that.
And then he's in an interview. English.
The training, the voice
wait,
training.
how do you do that, fool? I just started sounding American.
Yeah,
like that. And I just thought, I'm over here telling my manager, hey, Bill, where does this fool live? I think he's in the UK or Canada.
He said,
I was like, I thought this fool lived out here. I thought he was white or something. Well, he is white, but dude, he has an accent or whatnot. So, but he's a super cool guy. But yeah, so he's but there's Latino. What I'm trying to back to say is there's Latinos in the movie. It's a great storyline, man. Wow. It's a great storyline where I don't want to say much because obviously I want you guys to watch it and so on. But it's an action movie. There's a lot of fight scenes in this movie, like good fight scenes. Okay. It's so it's like it's not a huge like Marvel Project movie, fool, where Thanos comes out. Chill, okay, relax, dog. I don't think they'll give me that much leeway.
Next time.
But it did cost a couple million to make, for sure. It cost not in my pocket. No. All right,
Damn, he's got it like that, huh?
No. I did not fund the movie, so hold on, don't come looking for me.
You want to fund the podcast right now?
You know what?
We need
They should go watch the
sponsorship.
movie to find out.
Yes. Watch the movie. So look, action, Latinos in the movie. Young girl gets like kidnapped, and then like the dad is looking for the daughter, and then this like horror. It's almost like when we were like piecing it, I kind of came away like, dude, like it's like an action movie mixed with a horror twist to it. Cause then there's this guy that comes out with this, like he has a hand, fool. Like who's that Marvel guy with the stone hand?
Oh yeah.
No, there's another one that has like the fist. Okay. He has like a metal, like, and he has like. Bucky. Okay, let's say Bucky. Okay, Bucky. No. We'll say Bucky because he does have a. So, but this one has like this metal hand, right? Marco, that's the other actor. And he has this metal hand, but then he like twists it and he pulls out a knife. Damn. And he starts going ham with this knife.
Slicing and dicing, huh?
That's why I don't watch it with the kids. But damn, I was like, it's a nice mix. It's different.
If there's one word to describe this movie, how would you describe it?
Oh man, dude. Badass, bro.
Perfect.
Badass.
There it is.
I like
Perfect.
badass.
Perfect.
That works.
Badass.
When does it come out?
June 13. Friday, June 13. Friday, June 13.
Can we all get
movie night?
Well, we're gonna have a screening that you guys are gonna be obviously invited to.
Oh. Okay.
We're like the gringo, so we're gonna do that again. We're doing a luncheton that you guys are also invited to. And if you guys want to come to Beverly Hills, we're gonna be in Beverly
Feeling
Hills
bougie. I'm
at
feeling bougie.
what is it called? I forget this
Pip,
restaurant.
pip, cheerio.
We're upgrading, bro.
Oh,
We're
it's
upgrading,
serious.
dude.
It's
If it was up to me,
serious.
Hey.
we would just go to fucking John's Incredible
Hideaway,
Pizza.
no?
dog.
No.
Hideaway.
Huh?
Hideaway?
The Hideaway.
Yeah.
So we're having this like lunchathon.
I know that place.
At
They
a-
took me there for my birthday.
Really?
If
Oh,
I
you guys
want-
No
been
one in
there?
Burbank, though.
Okay. Oh no, this was in Beverly Hills,
No,
dog.
no,
That's
it's because it was his. That's Castaway.
Oh no. This was Hideaway, so it's not that one. No.
Nah.
Oh no, this was
Different
this was
Same
better.
thing, but different.
Yeah, no, this one's
You
probably
know it's bougie when we can't even pronounce it.
I
Yeah.
know. I'm
What?
over getting everything.
The
like that.
Hideaway.
¿A dónde vamos? ¿A Castaway?
Castaway?
¿Qué, güey?
Hideaway?
Hideaway.
Something with a way.
Hideaway.
¿Tienes tapatío? ¿Tienes tortillas?
Limón.
No. The Hideaway. There's no be tortillas there because it's a Mexican restaurant. Rodeo Drive. When it was having like that's not coming from my cut, right? Like whoever's paying for this is not my cut, right? Like
All we
budget
need
is that a
one,
part of?
one plato, we can all share it. Fool. That's all
no.
we
You
need.
guys get it each plate. Oh, we have so many cool stuff. We'll have PR there. There'll be our photographers. We're gonna talk a little bit about, what took to make this movie. Great food. We're gonna have like special drinks, like the Diablo, for example.
Wow.
So we're going all out for this like lunchathon. We're inviting like 30 close friends, which you guys are, and
So-
you guys all got invited.
So we
So
stop eating since now. Because
Yeah,
if we're
you-
going to be in Rodeo, we got to...
Well, this
It's
deserves
close
to-
to you?
It is close to
so
me.
you could definitely Uber there.
Yes,
Can you pick us
sir.
up on the way?
Maybe if
Ahí
you go
nos
to
arre-
me.
ahí se arreglan.
You can meet my wife. She's gonna come,
Yes,
so
yes,
she'll be
yes,
there because we
yes.
have a babysitter now. So we're gonna be. So we're gonna be there. You'll meet her.
excited.
I'm excited, but
If you
this is
come.
such a big deal. It deserves the celebration that you're doing.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
there's no reason to play this down.
And
Yeah.
see, the thing is, and hopefully I don't make this longer than what it should be, but the reason why, like, we're inviting 30, obviously, like, close, whether they're friends, creators, who they are, because it's like what we're trying to do is we're really trying to change Hollywood to a degree, the narrative, right? Like Bill's there, obviously, he's the executive producer. Stan from which he's a company owner that works with Lionsgate Partners. And I'm blanking out on his company name, and I hate it because I wish I could just like name drop it. Grindstone.
Okay.
He owns Grindstone. This is through Grindstone, Lionsgate, and what we're pitching to these studios now. What we're starting with, Lionsgate is what we're pitching is like, look, dude, like we could do so much in Hollywood, whether it's bringing podcast people into the world, into the space, right? And whether it's talking about movies or whatever it may be, or, like the possibilities are endless. We're obviously trying to like knock down a door and bring people that we feel like, hey, you should meet
So and so.
you guys. You should meet, so and so, because like what we believe is that as Latinos, as content creators, whoever it may be, we do bring a lot of value to Hollywood, right? Clearly we do, and it's we're almost there where we could almost prove that. We proved it with How the Gringo Stole Christmas. That movie was number 5 for like 3 months, And so we're proving it. Now this is another step. Like, hey, look, we could do this, do that. But really connecting dots. And that's our main goal, really connecting dots with these executives from these studios to say like, hey, I'm not the only one. You also have these guys. You also have these guys. And hopefully you guys are able to, if you guys could come, obviously, you guys are able to meet, Stan, right? Meet some of these other like producers that are going to be there, whether it's at the lunch or whether it's at the movie premiere. Because what really what Bill is more so him. He's really batting for the creator world to go into Hollywood, to go into not necessarily acting, but producing, writing. We're doing so much in this space.
Get into a space that wasn't made. It's not that it wasn't made for us, but we never had a representation in there.
Right.
Right? Because it's como dicen, like, all you need is one to be in there, y ese se trae la banda.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's like you bring like, they're doing construction today, and you bring somebody, I needed my fence done. I got somebody.
Yeah.
That's what you're looking for, guys. You need this done. I got somebody. So all we needed is someone in there to go to bat for us.
Yeah.
And I think it's someone that's in there that's willing to bat for you, because a lot of
Right.
people make it in there and they want it all for themselves. So why are you willing to share with other people and other creators?
Because I've never been like the hater. I've never been the guy that would gatekeep things. You know what I mean? If I can help you, I'm gonna help you 100%. If I go on TikTok live and I'm telling people how to make money on there, like there's more than enough for everyone, right? But kind of like something else we were talking about, it takes more than one.
Yeah.
You need a team. You need, representation. You need to showcase that, like, look, it's a lot of us doing different things. And in this space in Hollywood, whether the Hollywood executives or whoever's back there wants to see it or not, it's happening, right? At one point in music, Bill, this is his analogy. In music, right, it was these big record labels. Then Spotify came. Now this artist could do what the record labels were doing. Now we could do it through Spotify. I don't need the record label. Either you take me or I'll do it on my own.
Right.
So we're trying to bring you in. Now if you don't want to come in with us, then we'll do it on our own.
Right.
That's happening in TV. That's happening in look at Mr. Beast.
Yep.
Mr. Beast show.
Biggest.
Right? Obviously he's a huge creator.
Yeah.
But you have all these content creators that are also like coming up with their own, studios, their own projects, and so on. So what we're trying to do is like, hey, look,
Take a chance.
you want to do this, or if not, we'll go knock at the other door. And the great thing now is that we have the executives' ears. They're kind of, and like when I talk to people and I'm trying to sell them on something, it's like, look, nothing is done overnight. 100%. Everything is gonna take time, right? When we first came in with the idea of how the gringos stole Christmas, they kind of didn't believe us. We came, we executed. The movie did well for what it was, for the budget that it had, and it did well. Okay, we could check that off. Like, it's proven. Now, this is another step, right? Yeah. We're going to put this individual. We could be producers in this movie. We could market this movie. We could do the finances behind, make sure that the movie, because that's really what the executive producer is, right? Yeah. Like, I'm not in there with the camera, but we are like in the back scene, making sure this movie happens, making sure the movie gets green light, making sure that it is on time, that, the marketing, if there's merchandise, etc. There's just so many things that go kind of behind the scenes, making sure we are able to get a Scott Adkins, on the movie. So there's so much that goes behind. So now it's like, the reality is like Hollywood is on a brink and it's kind of bumpy right now. Yeah. So it's like social media, there's more people on their phone, watching phone. So it's like, not that they need us, because Hollywood's always going to be here. Yeah. I'm not saying that, but it's like, look, man, like we're proving that we could do.
Like, there's more for your buck here.
There's a chance to capitalize.
Yeah. There's a chance to capitalize, because if not, more Mr. Beasts are going to come in here, and they're going to start doing their thing, and you see it. Yeah, because you're seeing it now.
I always love keeping up with like his business and stuff, but they came in, it was like let's see if it works, because he already has millions and billions of views. See if it works, and then it ended up doing way more, bigger than any production they ever had on, I think it was Amazon, right? Yeah. And now that was like his guinea pig. Amazon's my guinea pig. It worked. It's the biggest you ever had on here. Now my price tag, it's a lot more, but now I can sell it to every other production.
Right, but you know why he went with Amazon? And this goes back to what we do as social media creators. The reason why he went to Amazon was because they allowed him to do things his way. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Other companies, who knows whether it was Netflix or whoever it was, they kind of wanted a say on what was going to happen. And Mr. Beast was like, no, like, if I'm going to do this, it has to be my way, right? And that's when it comes down to our creative. Like, what works. You guys know what works in your space, right? I know what works in my space. Like, I know what's going to give you. Yeah. Let me give me my creative freedom. Yeah. Let me rock out, and I know it's going to be successful. So that's really the bread and butter, right? Yeah. Allowing us to be us, because we know what works for us.
Having control of your project. Yeah. And that's what it is. Like, if you're already working, like, you're already good at this that you're doing now, your content, why would I want to change it? Like, if it's working, if it's not broken, why fix it? Right. Right. And I think I had a conversation today with management, and she's like, hey, there's this idea. And my first question was like, am I allowed? Are they going to allow me to handle it the way I want? all rains. I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna work.
Yeah, and that's what it comes down to, even, you know, in the studio, because a lot of these studios, not to be disrespectful to anyone, but you have, like, let's just say the old school mentality, right? Like, they're content, or it's always work. Yeah, they're struggling right now. So it's like, why not bring in fresh blood?
Yeah.
Right? Why not bring in, you know, this kid that was in a movie? Why not bringing him in to executive produce this movie? Give us his insight on what's working on the phones now.
Yeah.
What's working, and maybe we amplify it into, you know, a movie, and whatever the case may be, a show, etc., etc. So it's like, that's really what the goal is.
100%.
Right? Give us some creative freedom. Allow us to come in. We don't want to change what you already started or creating. I don't have millions to make a movie, so it's definitely not happening. But, you know, if you could partner, and we have great partners with Lionsgate and Grindstone, where they are taking a chance on us. They are giving us, you know, freedom, flexibility, and they're letting us, like, do what you got to do. Like this lunchathon, you know, we're not expecting no one to do anything for us. No, we just want to bring people. We want to introduce people. We want to celebrate. I don't want it to be about me. Like I told Bill, like, bro, it doesn't have to be about, I don't want, yes, I get it. We're celebrating, but like, no, let's come together. Let's bring people. You know, we did it the last time for a previous movie. Let's just bring some people to have a good time. Let's bring some friends. Yeah. You know?
Beautiful, bro. So, wow.
Yeah, man. So,
wow.
Diablo, June 13th.
That's amazing. I mean, I'm hyped. I'm excited. But before we end, I do want to bring something up. I think one of our first movie premieres that we've went to, was All Thanks to You.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one?
How the Gringos Stole Christmas.
Oh, that was your first one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was our first one.
And
man, look at you guys now, man. You guys are in the red carpet taking pictures on.
All that.
What's that one thing that comes out on the pictures when they take a picture of the red carpet?
The Getty image.
The Getty.
That's when you know it's
now you got the Getty. They want you to pay for that now. I'm gonna rip it.
I can use it on Photoshop.
It looks cooler with the Getty on the bottom. You know.
Like, damn, I'm legit.
The Getty.
Yeah, because it's funny. Really quick on that story. We knew someone that was going. And we thought would go to bat for us, and they didn't go to bat for us. And they were like, "Oh, where we're gonna go?" We're like, "Oh, we'll see you there." Oh, but it wasn't because of you.
Invited.
We got invited though.
Yeah.
So, but what you're doing in a couple weeks for everybody, like for people to understand, like you've always been doing it. Maybe it's not shown, maybe it's not told, because how you said you don't like being celebrated, and I also don't like to put it all, like there's certain things to put on content and there's certain things that doesn't need to make it on there. But as a person, as a friend, someone, you inspire me. Like you've showed love to us when reality you had no need to, and you had no reason to, and that meant everything and to me, because my mom was like, "On the West," I was like, got invited to a red carpet. I mean, I'm ready. And she was like, "Are you serious?" Yeah, she was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, to men and men, everything, because, you know, here's what it was.
Yeah.
Coming into something like this, and to see you get celebrated and the whole cast get celebrated, and that was a big win for you guys. And now we're here, about to celebrate the next big project. And look at that. Not even, what was it? Not even like 2 years later. Here we are, dog. Like, again, we're talking about another big project coming, and who knows what the next 5 years is, the next year, the next 6 months. But as long as the power above gives us los días de licencia, it's never ending.
Sure, man. I mean, you guys been amazing. I know that the first time I went with you guys, you two weren't there. You know, it's obviously a new cast. I met Pepe. I met Pepe. He was, you know, he was at the premiere that you say. But I mean, you know what? Like not that I don't do podcasts because I'm like, oh, I'm this big. I don't get invited like that to say like I'm not big like that, you know. But I kind of don't, not, you know, because I'm like, you know, this big thing. But I mean, you guys. When I met you, you guys were cool. You were cool. Then I met you. You were cool. My first time meeting you.
She's all right.
You have a good vibe, you know. So I think this works, you know, what you guys have, and you guys, you know, I always hate making it about me. I always do, because it's like I don't know, But it's like you guys have done so much, man. Look at you guys, dude. Like you say, that was your first, red carpet, and it wasn't like because I wanted to be. It was like, hey, we'll invite some friends. Oh shit, I don't have too many friends. I'm like, let me hit these fools up, see if they want to come or whatever it may be, right? But you guys have came a long way. Like I've seen you guys grow, and you guys are killing it. I see how impactful the comments are, what you guys are doing, and I'm happy for you guys, man. And I think you guys are killing it, dude.
Poco a poco.
Poco a poco.
Va rodando.
Do you have a quote that you live by? That you resonate with? That you remember when you're having a shitty day? Or a tough day?
And last time I had a good one. But this time a quote that I live by, that I resonate. I guess, someone always has it harder than you, So no matter what you're kind of going through at this moment, at this time, it's part of the journey. And in reality, someone has it 10 times harder than you. So just smile, you'll get through it. Not necessarily a quote, but maybe more of a, but if I could make that into, I got to ask ChatGPT, hey, how do I make this into a quote?
Right.
But that
make
right
it sound
there.
casual.
Yeah, make it sound casual. Friendly.
Energetic, friendly.
Friendly. But yeah, I guess it would just be that, it's just, someone always has it harder,
Sometimes you just need that reminder.
Yeah.
So I know. I'm going to replay that one, and I'm going to send it to you. When, hey, fool, remember you said this.
Remember you said
Hey, ChatGPT actually said you should have said this.
Man, hermanos,
Appreciate you
thank
guys,
you for stopping by and for the second time and giving us a little behind the scenes inside scoop of everything you've been through, accomplished, what it takes to sit at the position you're sitting, because to have the millions of followers, the reach, the community, and
Inspirational. Nonetheless,
Yeah.
un orgullo hispano, dirán.
Thank you, man. And I
It's
hope
really inspiring.
I come here and I hope I didn't take your guys' time. Thank you guys for allowing me to sit in here with you guys, chit chat. I know it takes a lot. I had to pay him some money so I could come. Did he share that money with you guys?
Oh, yeah, you shared it. We'll talk about that after.
well, he says he's gonna
We'll
report the
talk
truck
about
for
that
at least 2 weeks, dog. I mean,
Hasn't
He
cleared?
said we'll see
got
after
something
the
to talk
lunch.
about.
So, man,
Yeah.
thank you for giving me the space, to share, the news, You guys didn't definitely had to, at all. This is like something that, we were chit-chatting when I sent you should come. And like, hell yeah, please let me come, dog. Like, let me, get me out the house, fool. Get me out the house, dog. Like, let me come after Chiquis, fool. Like, hold on, let me follow up after Chiquis, fool. No, thank you guys for having me and giving me the space. I really mean that.
Yeah, I think don't want to make you cry, dog, but the type of guy that you are, the type of friendship you give, I know your best friend made a great impact on you, dog.
Yeah.
Because I always say we're a reflection of people that we love and have made an impact on us. So without meeting your friend and your best man, I know you're a great man, and I know he was a great man.
Yeah, definitely,
look at the person you are, dog. So
definitely, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Great man.
Miss you,
great
Mike.
husband.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My brother.
Make sure y'all subscribe, baby. Hasta la otra.